I'm so happy you're here. Welcome to Chai Beauty, where I get to share my thoughts, my dreams, my aspirations, my visions for the future. And guess what? You get to be along for this journey because we are in this together. That's all I can say. Because now that we've talked about what are boundaries, we go with what are boundaries within. So the book tells the story of the Good Samaritan, but then it gives you the what ifs. And so that was really insightful. Again, you should get the book. But basically it said, what if the person that was helped started complaining, saying, I need you to be with me more, I need you to help me more. And the Samaritan decided that they weren't going to go off and do their business in Jericho. They were actually going to stay there and help that person that was injured. And this person, basically the Good Samaritan, had business to take care of. And that business, due to the lack of boundaries, they missed out on that business. And potentially their business could go bankruptcy. And that really had me thinking about, like, the book talked about pressure. It talked about internal pressure and external pressure. And really, it goes back to feelings. And so in this section, it says, feelings should neither be ignored nor placed in charge. They are signals that alert you to be aware of the condition of your heart. The feeling says the Bible says to own your feelings and be responsible for them. You must see them as your property so you can begin to find an answer to whatever issue they are pointing. They can often motivate you to do so much good. What do you tend to do with your feelings? Ignore them or let them be in charge? Why do you think you respond that way? What do you tend to do with the feelings of anger? If you are nursing any feelings of anger right now, what problems that need to be addressed are they pointing you towards? What will you do about that problem? And I said, I don't know. You tell me, right? Give me the answers to it. But literally, what does your heart say right now? Have you even talked to your heart today? Have you journaled? Have you gone to therapy? Let's again go back to why we're here and why we're trying to grow. What is in your heart that you've ignored, you soothed, or you just plain said that's not really the feeling? And let's talk about it. So, when I think about these questions about feelings, what do I tend to do with my feelings? I am definitely an avoidance flight person. I did not take confrontation as a bad thing. I'm just a person that was like, is this gonna kill me? No. And I kind of walked off and was like, it's not killing me. I'm just gonna move on with my life. And I just learned earlier in life, literally earlier in life is usually like 1-2 year differentiation. But I learned that, like, that is just me disassociating with my feelings, and I'm not really living that emotion out. Like, I'm not really acknowledging it and giving it the time that it needs. It doesn't have to control me, but, like, if I'm sad, I shouldn't stuff my tears. It's like, I'm sad right now. Let me process that in the way of, like, me sitting. Like, sometimes I just sit in the shower. Sometimes I sit on the edge of my bed and I just write out why I'm sad so that I can, like, remember that this caused me to be sad and why did it cause me to be sad. Is usually how I go with it, is how I deal with my feelings now. when it comes to anger, I am not the best advice giver when it comes to anger. I think I'm definitely get frustrated, and I can either just drop it or I can escalate. I'm not a de-escalator yet. I'm practicing. I'm work in progress. I know this. But the fact that I've acknowledged that I'm angry, was a big step for me. But in my anger, I've learned that like I'm not really angry. I'm frustrated with something, or I'm disappointed, or I've learned the word rejection. Like, oh, I took that personally when I really shouldn't have, and so I'm moving differently because I took that as rejection. And that has caused me to like slow down my pace and actually do something different. And so it said like, did you have any problems? Have you addressed them? Like a long time ago, like 2015, I had a friend that came to LSU. We hung out, and like I'm really bad at writing. Like so bad that somebody was like, "Is English your second language?" And I was like, "All I know is English." Because I'm just not that really good at it in some parts, and I haven't really got to the root of that. I think it's just my brain sometimes sees a whole entire word, not as like a whole entire word there, like, and I keep going. And because I wasn't very good at writing, it was really one of those insecurities for me. And this person had very good intent, and they were just, and we had just like gotten a little spat. I wouldn't even call it an argument. It was like we just was like da 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 da, and I interpreted like, even though they said it in the like, you know how like in the TikToks they be like, I went to the store, and then they played the back, and it was like, girl, I went to the store, I did da da da. Like they make fun of like what you think you sound versus what you sound. And so it was a situation where this person said it so nicely and so sweetly, but I interpreted it so bad that I actually ignored this person for a long time. Not my proudest moment. And then it's now 2023, and honestly, we were playing a question game, and they were like, and I had the question of like, what's your least favorite memory of me? And then this person asked me, what's your least favorite moment of me? And because I had worked through it already, I was like, oh, my least favorite memory was this story. Like, you said this to me, and I didn't talk to you for a whole bunch of times. And this person was like, oh, I thought you just didn't talk to me because you were busy, but the fact that I hurt your feelings said a lot. And I was like, oh, yeah, my bad. But like, also, I didn't give you opportunity to explain yourself. I just bounced because that was me being me. And so that also taught to me about my attitude and how your attitude can affect your beliefs, but only you can change them. And I was like, my poor attitude, like how have I gone to God for my attitude? It's usually how I think about it, and I try to keep my attitude positive, or I try to be realistic. And so like how I handle my attitude and my beliefs is like I go to God, and I use Philippians 4:8, and I use 1 Corinthians, because like if God is love, and these are the ways he showed love, and I don't take them as situational based, I take them as people based. And this tends and then one of the questions was, do you tend to feel responsible for other people's feelings, choices and behavior? Not anymore. I used to think that I do because of my strong will, I could change somebody's behavior if I did the right thing. And I've just been in situations in the course of like going to into the workforce, and now I'm saying that I can do 110 and still not please somebody. And I also had the responsibility of like behavior and values. And one of the questions was, What choices in your life have you failed to take responsibility for, and whom you're blamed for what circumstances are in your life? And for a long time, I had one of my parental parents I blamed for a lot of things. Just because they installed a lot into me. And I came to a point that was exhausting. And then I realized, like, me having that geographic distance, also that emotional distance, to look around my life and be like, where I am right now was basically small steps led me to where I am right now. And I'm actually in a good place. So why are you holding these things from this person? Because you're basically been 3 years out of your parental's like guidance, help, because you isolated yourself. And if you're in a good place, that means you're in a good place. And I also held them responsible for reaction and actions that I have now. But I've also learned how to reteach myself to be like, oh, I know that's your initial gut response, but that's not a good initial gut response, and you need to change that. And so that goes with the thoughts process and the desire and the love. And so at this season in my life, I've done a very good job of it. I think I'm now at 20. How old am I? At 26. It's the giving and receiving love. I give a whole bunch, but I've seen patterns of myself where I self-sabotage and I can't receive love. On a large scale. Like, it has to, I want to control how I receive love. And so that's what led me to the Enneagram and the 5 love languages, because I was trying to control love when I really just needed to accept it for who it is. And so I'm in the season of constantly reminding myself what I want and what I need are not the same. And so, in that being said, when we're talking about love, the question is just how are you working to take more responsibility this week? In what areas are you doing a fairly good job at taking responsibility? What do you answer to how healthy is the outflow of love in your life? What are you giving to others, the kind of unconditional love God gives you? And when I think about those questions, and I challenge you for these questions, is how is your flow of love happening? Like, are you loving people like you love yourself? So I love myself that I give myself gifts. I love myself that I go on dates with myself. I love myself enough that, like, sometimes I just walk in the mirror and I be like, you a bad mama Gemma. Do. Right? So, am I doing those things for other people? Am I telling people, like, I love you? Am I telling people, you a bad mama Gemma? Do. Right? Am I giving out what I want to receive? And if I am, the questions I've been asking myself lately is, why is it so difficult if you're giving out what you want to receive, but you can't take it yourself? So what do you need to work on? And so I have to ask you yourself that. How are you controlling the flow of your love? And what are you working on next?